Right now, the deadly consequences of the Biden open borders agenda is now more obvious than ever. Now, tonight, as our own Bill Maloogian is reporting even more examples of migrants dying at the hands of human smugglers on the U.S.-Mexico border. Take a look at your screen. Now, Texas authorities say migrants are being smuggled and then left for dead as this reckless immigration policy is not only attacking American sovereignty, but taking the lives of the migrants themselves. There's nothing too compassionate about illegal immigration, nothing compassionate about aiding and abetting law-breaking, nothing compassionate about turning the country into the United Sanctuary States of America under Joe Biden. Earlier today, the Supreme Court did rule 5-4 in favor of Biden, allowing the administration to end the highly successful Trump-era Remain in Mexico policy, which requires that those seeking asylum stay in Mexico while their claims are being heard. Voters, they are taking notice of Biden's America Last immigration agenda. 67% of Americans give Biden a failing grade on the crisis. And according to new findings from Rasmussen, guess what? Only 59% think Joe is mentally and physically, 59% don't think he's physically and mentally up to the job. Here with reaction, American First legal founder Stephen Miller, along with Arizona Attorney General, Republican Senate candidate Mark Brnovich is with us. Let me go to the legal side, Mr. Attorney General. The court's majority pointed to language in the law that says the government may return migrants to a nearby territory, noting the discretionary nature of the wording. I took that to mean that they kind of said you can do it, but I didn't quite understand the rationale behind that. Do you understand it?
Well, Sean, thank you for having me on. And I think we all recognize that what the Biden administration is doing is systematically not only dismantling ICE, but eradicating the southern border. And our lawsuits that we were part of, whether it's Title 42, whether it's Remain in Mexico, whether it's trying to force Joe Biden to finish the wall, those are all designed to do everything we can to prevent the flood of illegal immigration and the flood of drugs from coming into our country. And one of the things that worries me is we have a lawsuit right now over asylum rules. Joe Biden wants ICE, DHS, to be able to give asylum to people now instead of immigration judges. So what has happened now? The Supreme Court has helped set the stage for the incentivization and decriminalization of illegal immigration. We're going to see this wave here. And now Joe Biden wants his DHS to be able to grant citizenship to people that have legally entered our country.
You know, Stephen Miller, what bothers me is a couple of things here. Where's the law about aiding and abetting law breaking, sanctuary cities, sanctuary states, for example? I do think what the justices are saying is we do need a new law. As part of any new law, I would require that everyone have a security background check before they can enter the country. I would require a health check, especially in the middle of a pandemic. I would require that they show that they will have the means to take care of themselves and not be a burden on the American taxpayer, and that they go through the process legally. We're talking about illegal immigrants here. But yet, I guess the court doesn't really see it that way. It's kind of hard to understand the reasoning behind it.
Well, we were all disappointed with Kavanaugh and Roberts going the other way on this, but let's get to the heart of this issue. Donald Trump built the greatest border security regime in the history not only of our country, but any country. I was there. I saw it firsthand. Anyone from any country, anytime, who crossed our border illegally, we sent them to Mexico, we sent them to a safe third nation, or we sent them home. There was no slippage. There were no break-ins. We had zero, I repeat, zero discretionary releases in 2020. You were sent to another country. Biden has spent every minute, every hour, and his deputies every minute, every hour, dismantling border security, dismantling our sovereignty, dismantling our safety, and his hands and his administration's hands are drenched in blood. Americans are dying in record numbers. Migrants are dying in record numbers. This issue alone can give us the largest House majority we've ever had. And if he chooses to run, this issue alone is enough to put Donald J. Trump back in the White House. What's happening to our country is a tragedy of unmatched proportions.
And Mr. Attorney General, you know, it's even worse than that because you have process and release. So that encourages and entices people to take this perilous journey. We saw what happened earlier in the week. 53 people dead in the back of that trailer. So it's not safe for any of them. And then when they get here, they get preferential treatment. There's no COVID testing. There's no vaccine mandate. You get a Biden phone and you get a chartered flight to some city or state somewhere else in the United States at some point. So that sounds like preferential treatment to me. I don't know any Americans getting free phones and free transportation. Do you?
Hey, Sean, what is going on is not humane. It's insane. And you know, I'm a first-generation American, and I don't do polling, but I talk to my mom and her friends from church and other people that have fled communism, and they will tell you they are so offended by what's going on now. So many recent migrants or first-generation Americans, because no one gave them free flights to go visit their cousins. They had to work 2 and sometimes 3 jobs in order to make it. And that's all the American dream is about, is equality under the law, and the rule of law has to mean something. And we have seen that the consequences of a broken Congress has been devastating this country for years, but combined with Joe Biden's open border policies, we are completely eradicating and eliminating the rule of law, and we are paying the price not only with our lives but in our treasure.
Wouldn't I, Stephen Miller, if I met somebody entering the country and helped them cross the border illegally and drove them to whatever state, wouldn't I be guilty of aiding and abetting in a crime? Wouldn't I be guilty of human trafficking? Because I think I would.
You would be jailed for multiple. You'd be jailed for multiple felonies. Let's be very clear. Whereas Donald Trump declared war on the cartels, war on the smugglers, and war on the traffickers, Biden and his deputies are co-conspirators. They are guilty of human smuggling. They are guilty of human trafficking. And I hope a new Republican majority, if they win, will appoint a select committee, subpoena each and every individual responsible, and wherever the facts support it, refer for criminal prosecution. What is happening is complicity in human smuggling and trafficking.
I think it's well said. And by the way, they've encouraged all these people to make this journey. And when people die,
yes,
guess what? I would argue they are partly, if not wholly, responsible.
You
all
are
right,
right.
Stephen Miller, Attorney General Brnovich, thank you for being with us. Straight